Call the meeting to order for the second General Assembly meeting of the fall semester on September 20th, 2012. We'll begin with the council roll call.
Okay, Association of Nurses and Graduate School. Prom Council. Here. Education Council. Here. Finance Council. Here. Graduate Business Council. Graduate Engineering Council.
Yes.
Graduate Public Affairs Council. Liberal Arts Council. Masters Professional Accounting Council.
Here.
Natural Sciences Council. Here. Pharmacy Council. Here. Social Work Council. Here. Student Association for the School of Information.
Here.
Student Bar Association.
Here.
Student Engineering Council. Here. Undergraduate Architecture Student Council.
Here.
Undergraduate Business Council.
Here.
Undergraduate Geological Society. Undergraduate Studies Council. Here. UT Nursing Students Association.
Here.
Great, thank you. We'll now move on to organizational announcements, and Stephen Vincent with Suicide Prevention Week for the Chaos Club.
Let's start by having these, you guys just pass them along. Thank you. For those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Stephen Vincent. I'm going to step out of my Senate role for a second to speak on behalf of Chaos. I'm talking to you guys tonight about a pretty sensitive issue, suicide and suicide prevention. Just a quick question, how many of you know how many undergrads and graduates even contemplate or think about suicide each year? Or in your entire career as a graduate or undergraduate student? Anybody can take this in hands? All right, 58% of undergraduate students contemplate seriously suicide throughout the course of their undergraduate career, and 51% of graduate students do the exact same. The numbers are pretty staggering. Here at UT alone, 8% of UT students have at least attempted suicide throughout their career. Next week, we are hosting Suicide Prevention Week. Tejas and 22 other organizations and departments are coming together to really bring suicide out of the corner and into the spotlight. We're really trying to make a difference in terms of getting a lot of people to talk about what was once a taboo subject, and to really make a difference by potentially being that one person who can make a significant change in someone's life in the future. So on the card that's going around, it's going to talk about a lot of the events and organizations and I guess events that we've got going on next week. Every day, Monday through Friday, something's going on to showcase suicide prevention, how you can really get involved, how you can make a difference. Specifically on Thursday, if you guys have ever been out to Chaos Coffee, we're going to have a video discussion if you guys would like to come out and join us. But if you guys would like to get involved, we have Suicide Prevention Week on Facebook or cmhc.utexas.edu. Again, everything's on this. If you'd like to contact me, I'll be back there if you need. Thank you, guys.
And now we have Andrew Clark with the vote.
Hey everybody, so Hook the Vote is doing a they're calling it a block walk. It's going to be this Sunday at 11 a.m. We meet at the Littlefield Fountain, and basically what's going to happen is they'll be going to the West Campus and area neighborhoods to hang voter registration packets on the doors. There won't be deputized to vote or anything, just to get the word out there, make sure people are registering to vote because the deadline is quickly approaching. So, as I said, you don't have to be deputized if you're interested in just being civically involved in things or having interest in going. It's this Sunday, 11 a.m. at the Fountain. And if you have questions, you should contact Billy Cowell, and Thor's here as well. He's going to give an update. If you have questions, you should probably ask him too. But Billy Cowell is the agency director for Hook the Vote. You can reach him at billy.cowell, C-A-L-V-E, @gmail. So, thanks.
We'll now move on to special reports, and there's someone before the three ones listed on the agenda. And if Joe Dominguez and Gideon Jarrett want to come up and present the undergraduate researcher of the month.
Hi, I'm Gideon Jarrett.
I'm Joe Dominguez.
And we would like to present the Undergraduate Researcher of the Month. It's a spotlight on the School of Architecture, and we have Andrew Davis here with us. So he's going to come say a few words about his research, how it has helped him with his undergraduate experience. And
Well, you guys can do it.
so, Andrew Davis.
Hello. They told me I have about
2 minutes to speak, which is great because that's my attention span. So, I got into research initially in my second year of school, and it started with Detroit. Is anybody from Detroit? Exactly. Detroit's kind of in a weird flux right now. I loved it because it was in that flux, and there's some great research going around in Detroit itself, but there's really nothing going on outside of Detroit. It's interesting to me because it seems that there's this weird neglect that's happening in that city, and I'm interested in maybe changing or altering that and making it into something that's productive. I'm really fortunate to have the college councils recognizing like this because the undergraduates don't really get research recognition. It's kind of a graduate thing. So as an undergraduate, I'm very fortunate to be here. I'm very fortunate to be recognized. And if y'all want to get introduced into the research world, I recommend that you just do it, like elbow your way in, because it's really the only way you're going to be able to participate. I didn't really prepare a way to end this, so I'm just going to leave.
That was a good ending. If I'm struggling up here, I'm just going to leave. So. We'll now move on to the next special report with Catherine Strickland, who is from UT Libraries.
My name is Catherine Strickland. I'm the council, or the SCC's rep to the Student Library Council. I'm coming to you to talk to you. Okay. I wanted to give you a couple of updates. We were really busy this summer. We've been kind of moving stuff out of PCL and making more kind of study space. One big project, this was actually almost a year in development, was this scout box. And I know there was a search box here before, and this isn't simply us redesigning it and adding some color. It's actually a new tool. It's a much more powerful search. It searches 90% of the resources that we have. So it searches the catalog and most of the journals and most of the databases we have. Once we can get 100% in there, we will. We're working on it. But I wanted to show that to y'all. It's a little confusing because you get a lot more, basically, results when you do a search. So I'm doing classical. The key to using this is the refinements. Do you see that over there? There's publication refinements. You can look for only old things, and often that's going to be things that are only in print. Or if you want more recent items, the last 2 years, that's going to knock out, because look at the results, 3 million. When, you want to use these. You can also limit the location if you're looking for something in print, or the subject terms. You don't have to stick sifting through 3 million results. Just remember that. Another thing I want to show you all is if you like the old search or you're looking for something that's just in the libraries, just hit the catalog search. That's just going to search art. That's how you can look for a DVD that you can get at Fine Arts. That's how you can get books. Articles are going to search a lot of the same stuff, but not the books. And then databases, if you know the tool you want to use, then just go to the databases, go straight. Use the all when you're starting and kind of drill down. You'll start to learn what databases work best for you. So, another thing I want to talk about is 24/5. Have y'all heard about that? Thanks to the student government, we secured funding to stay open 24 hours. Starting October 15th, we're going to be open 24 hours a day, starting Sunday at noon until Friday at 11 p.m. We decided to start it that way for midterms up until the 3 weeks before finals, because really, who's going to be at the library Saturday night? You know, that's kind of the dead period. So it gives everyone a little break. But Sunday morning noon, Friday 11 p.m. It'll be 24 hours starting Sunday, October 14th. Really excited about that, and really grateful that students got involved. Student government, it wouldn't have happened without you all. You know, we couldn't do it. And the last thing I want to talk about, and I'll do this every time I'm here, so just get used to it, is the calendar. There's a lot of classes that we offer. If you're a Latin American Studies student, getting the most of the Vincent is going to be a good class, and that's a Latin American Studies. Conducting literature review for sciences is going to be a good class. And that's at Welch Hall. Science study breaks coming up. I left flyers, and I think everyone found the t-shirts, but I left some of the t-shirts for $24.5 back there. Google Books and Google Scholar is also another really good broad class. It'll give you some more powerful research. So thank y'all. Have a good day.
Okay, we'll now move on to Adam from Teach for America. You can do whatever you want.
All right, well, thank you. First of all, we kind of met earlier this year and kind of talked about how we get more people involved in the civil rights movement of educational equity. Just a quick gauge, how many of you have heard of Teach for America? I'm just kidding. All right, well, how many of you know someone who's done Teach for America before? How many of you have a major that you think could do Teach for America? Calling out. Sorry, I was a teacher. I'm thinking teacher. Okay, so those of you that had their hands raised, could you just like throw out some words like that you associate with Teach for America in general? Some words. Come on, I know I've had a few, so you can. It's gonna get really loud. Inspiring.
Intense.
Intense. Come on.
Teaching.
Teaching.
Rewarding.
Rewarding. America, absolutely. Okay, so for those of you that did not have your hand, these are all words that I assume with it. I also think like challenging, rewarding, those things that come to my mind as well. So I'll give you a little perspective of who I am. I'm originally from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Do we have any Midwesterners in here? All right, so I went to the University of Minnesota. I studied business there at the Carlson School of Management, operations and supply chain. Any opposite supply chain? This one. All right. And I kind of like left college, or was kind of entering that senior year, thinking like, what should I do with my graduate, like postgraduate? Like, should I be like going and working for ING? Should I be looking at Deloitte? All these things that my school is telling me I'm supposed to do. But then I started realizing that there's so much out there, so many things that are not happening in this country, and there's so many ways for us to get involved. So why does Teach for America exist? There are 16.4 million children in this country living in poverty. It's 16.4. When I was recruited into the Corps, there was 14 million. That was 3 years ago. Of that 16.4 million children, only 8% are going to graduate from college. Well, we're all in this room, like we all have this like amazing opportunity to attend a great university, and we're going to have opportunities that expand beyond that. But you think about this, only 8% of children growing up in low-income communities are going to enjoy those same opportunities. I could like cuss about this because it makes me so angry, and it should hopefully incite some anger within you. Like, this is a pure example of systemic classism and systemic racism that's being imposed upon children. And we say that poverty is not solvable. We say that we cut taxes or we do all these things, but no one's really investing in saying, guess what? I got a college degree. I know I can make a difference. I have the power to change things, and I'm actually going to do it. I made that choice upon graduation. I chose to go teach in downtown Dallas, where I taught 2nd grade for a year, and then I taught 6th grade math for another year. During that time, specifically when I entered my 2nd grade classroom, my kids were reading on average middle of kindergarten as 2nd graders. All of my kids either Latino or African American. And then again, we say, poverty is just this cycle that's just gonna happen, right? Like, no. I chose to invest in my kids. I chose to be passionate about what I do. And I chose to think about like what America promises, right? We promise equal opportunity to all people, regardless of their color, regardless of what zip code they were born into, regardless of how much money their parents made. During that year, I brought my kids from a middle of kindergarten reading level to above a third grade level. They entered third grade reading above what is deemed on grade level. 1 year. 1 year to get these kids to where they need to be so that they are getting the same opportunity that every single one of us in that room had. So Teach for America, I'm going to talk really quickly about logistics. So now you know like why this exists and what impact we can make. So if you really, it's a 2-year commitment, but if people really believe that we think you can change, like all of a sudden like, oh, 2 years, and then all of a sudden like, all the brown children in this world are like equal, right? No, that's not like the way we're smarter than that. Give us some credit. So it's 2 years of teaching, and then beyond that, we have what we call like our alumni movement. So as a business major, I entered thinking, like what impact can I make immediately within those 2 years? But then also thinking, okay, so where can I go with this? So we have over 54,000 alumni that have taught over 4.6 million children over our 22 years. Our alumni span from everything from staying in the classroom, 1/3 of our alumni still teach beyond those 2 years. Another third of our alumni choose to look at education in a much more broader sense. So we have over 550 principals. Has anyone heard of the name Michelle Reed? Anyone? Okay, she was the chancellor of DC Public Schools. She was on Oprah. Get with it, come on. She fired half of the DC principals, including her daughter's principal. She's one of us. So we look at like all so that's the 2/3. Then there's another third that says, okay, I'm going to take like a far more systemic approach to this. And I understand that there are children without health care in these low-income communities. I understand that there's an impact that business can have. I understand there's research. I mean, Detroit is one of our largest placement regions as it relates to the gentleman that spoke before me. They took a much more systemic approach and went back into their major or back into the function that they entered college with. This is all solvable. We have people, the head of the IRS is Teach for America. We have many senators that are Teach for America. We have people that have gone and decided that they're going to devote 2 years postgraduate to make a difference directly. And then after that, either teach or go on to do something that systemically changes this. So I guess why I'm here today is not necessarily to say like all of you need to apply, because let's be real, like there's very few seniors in here anyways. But the real idea is that like each one of you is part of a council, right? Or has some hand within each piece of this university. So if you receive an email from me, or if you receive an email from someone from Teach for America, like it would be really great if we could start connecting people. How many of you are like on a council? I'm still working on this. Okay. How many of you know people in your council or that are part of your schools that need rewarding jobs postgraduate? They're looking for rewarding jobs. Okay, so only half it looks like? Okay. But the whole idea is that like, this is everyone. I was a business major. Pharmacy, raise your hand next time, okay? We need everyone, right? Like the thing is like, if you have math and you have science in your background, think about how many kids you can impact. Math and science gap is one of the largest gaps in this country. And if you are coming out of college with a huge, extensive knowledge of math or science, think about the amount of impact you can have in just those 2 short years before going to med school. In the back, I have some flyers of ways that we involve our alumni into careers in medicine, law, policy, business, education. We're partnered with every top 20 law school, top 20 med school, both primary and research, every dental school. We're partnered with every probably top 50 business school with this idea, and not to mention many employee partnerships, with this idea that we are a pipeline that are qualified individuals that got into this program and then went on to impact change in some other capacity. So we want to pipeline them to the top of whatever that is. Now, hopefully there's time for some questions if there's a few minutes. I know that I threw like a lot at you. I didn't probably sit on the whole front row the entire time. No? Okay, not yet. I just get like salad. My fault. So is there any questions about this? Does anyone have anything that they just want to open up to the crowd with this? Yeah?
How would you suggest that we tell us this for our school specifically? We only have first and second year students.
Absolutely.
How exactly would you recommend us to
Hi everyone, I'm Melissa Dunn. I'm the campus campaign coordinator, so I'm the student version of Adam, also an at-large. There's a lot of ways for freshmen, sophomores, and juniors to get involved on campus, even if you're not applying right now. We just started Longhorn Teacher America, which is a student chapter, student organization, and we're doing, the goal of Longhorn TFA is to do mass education about the education inequality gap on this country, to get people angry and riled up and passionate about this before they can even apply. On October 9th, we're going to be doing a school to prison pipeline panel in the Union Theater. We're going to be talking about the fact that, as Adam mentioned, we've got 16.4 million children living in poverty. They're more likely to end up in prison by almost a factor of 3 than they are to end up in college. And that is a massive problem in this country. So we're going to be focusing on that and hearing from a bunch of UT professors that are doing research on that fact so that we can get people excited about it. We're also going to be passing out 7,000 pencils as a demonstration for the number of children that drop out of school every year because they don't feel engaged. And those are children that are going to be pipelined into the school to prison pipeline as well. So if you want to get involved, please see me at the end of this. I'll be here the whole time. I have to be. But please talk to me about this. We're trying to get this movement off the ground. We're really, really new, like 2 weeks old, not even registered officially through SALD, so that's fine. But please talk to me, and if you want to talk to your councils about this, we can do classroom presentations, we can come to your meetings, and let's go around and get them involved as well.
And she spoke about like the classroom to prison pipeline. It's actually like in many states they use 3rd grade reading scores to determine how many prison beds they need to make in 10 years. This is a very real statistic, and it's a clear predictor of how many prison beds they're going to need. This is real, people. Like it's time to like actually like sometimes I just like to like run people like, do you realize we have 35 that literally segregates this city? Like this is a real issue. And if we don't get people from all capacities getting involved in this, we are not going to solve anything. Any question? Sorry, I feel like super jacked. Yeah. Yeah. So we operate in 46 regions around the country, 4 of them being in Texas. El Paso is going to be added in the next coming years. Maybe next year. And yes, you absolutely get to preference where you want to be. So you place into like 3 buckets of preferred, highly preferred, and not preferred. And from there, like you may not get your top choice, but if you put in that highly preferred, you're likely to get one of those.
Any other questions?
When is the next deadline?
Okay. That's my closing. All right, so the next deadline is the 2nd of November at 10:59 Central Time. So make sure that you're not turning it in at midnight because it says midnight, but it's Eastern Time. So 10:59 p.m. Central Time, November 2nd. Again, this is something to get yourself riled up about, but also to get your councils involved with. This is, again, something that all people need to be a part of, or at least be knowledgeable about. With that, I really thank you for your time, and thank you for welcoming me. Thank you.
And now for our final special report, we have Karen Lama, who is the new director of the University Career Interview and Recruitment Center. Karen?
Hello, thank you so much for the time to talk to you, and also want to thank you for my job because you guys are the ones who created it. Particularly want to thank Michael Gregg and Michael Morton because they interviewed me and selected me from a slew of candidates. I do want to tell you a little bit about myself. So I'm a proud UT alum. I'm not going to tell you when I graduated, but it was a long time ago. I was a liberal arts student. I majored in government. So being somewhere with the Senate Assembly makes me very happy. I'm very proud of all of you and the work that you're doing. I went to law school. I volunteered actually for a couple of years with a different program called the Gender Volunteer Corps because I'm older than Teach for America. But it's great. Volunteering is a great opportunity to pursue for those of you who are interested. I went to law school. I practiced law, intellectual property law. I was a non-technical member of the Patents and Intellectual Property of a very large firm in Boston. Practiced for about 6 years, really didn't like it, and made a conscious decision to move into career services. Decided to come back to Austin and be at my alma mater. I started at the business school. So I worked at the Combs for about 6 years. I worked 2 years with the business honors students as the pre-law And then a year and a half ago, I moved to be the director of the College of Natural Sciences Career Design Center. And then this opportunity came up, and a lot of my fellow directors were really concerned about preserving what's really great about what we do at UT Career Services, but also adding this really exciting new venture. And so a lot of them encouraged me to apply, and here I am today. So I wanted just to tell you a tiny bit about the center. I started on September 4th, and this is a brand new startup venture, right? I literally didn't have a phone in my office until last week. So I'm kind of starting everything from scratch, but this is literally what you asked for, and so I'm here to deliver it to you. I want you to think of the interview center as a +1. So those of you who are at the College of Pharmacy, are in business, or in engineering, or in the Career Design Center, Natural Sciences, you get excellent services through your colleges that are targeted towards your particular major. They have great relationships with employers in your sort of niche area and industry, and that is a very valuable model that we do not want to lose. So what this new center will do is create a +1 or a hybrid model, so that you will still have decentralized career services. There will still be 17 individual career services offices, and each one of those offices will be responsible for preparing you for interviewing and recruiting. So those of you in the College of Fine Arts, you get excellent resources there, and you will go to your advisor in Fine Arts, and she will help prepare you for interviewing. So what I get to do is create this center that will serve undergraduates, master's, and PhD students at the university, and hire people who will go out and solicit employers to come and hire you. So if you are in business, you have comprehensive career services there. You have an interview center that is really state-of-the-art and kind of the model. You're going to still have those services. If you're in engineering, you also have a great service that has great interview rooms and a good sort of interview center. You're still going to have that. But for natural sciences, I have 10,000 students, 4 interview rooms, right? Not sufficient. Liberal arts, same thing. Lots and lots of students, not enough interview rooms. So what I am creating is a centralized center that will have between 50 to 70 rooms, and we will handle all of the logistics and recruiting across the university for all of the employers who want to hire more than just an engineering student or a business student, right? So a company like Exxon hires people across all majors at the university, and instead of having to go to 4 different career services offices, schedule 4 different interview days, and create 4 different job postings and 4 different on-campus recruiting systems, we're going to have 1. So the goal is to centralize to one platform for on-campus recruiting, to have one-stop shopping for employers. So if they want to hire across majors, they can come to our centralized interview center and post jobs for everyone, and they just show up at one place, and all of the majors come to the employers instead of having to go to 4 different centers on 4 different days, right? And for those of you who are perhaps a liberal arts student, but you really enjoy creating games and you do a lot of coding in your free time, and you really think you can compete with the computer science students, but you can't access the job postings for computer science students, now you will be able to. That's the goal of this centralized resource, is that the students will log into one platform and be able to compete for jobs for which they have the skill set, not necessarily just the major. Now, keep in mind this is the goal, but employers always have the freedom to say, you know what, I really only want nursing majors, because if you don't have, if you don't have that nursing skill set or the pharmacy skill set, I really can't hire you. But for the most part, the conversation to employers is, you say you want a software engineer, but there are 5 or 6 or 7 different other programs on this campus that have a lot of the same skill sets, and we'd encourage you to sort of be open to that. So that's kind of the overall idea for the center. The first question I get asked is, where is it going to be? And I say, I can't wait to find out, right? We don't exactly know yet. So I am meeting with control space and money for the university. I have met with the university architects. We are drawing up plans. We have hoped for locations, but I do not have anything guaranteed. There are 2 or 3 spaces that are being contemplated. I will tell you that I hope it will be on the 2nd floor of the Vaughn Academic Center, but do not quote me, that is not guaranteed on any level. A couple of other locations that have been contemplated are perhaps the Student Services Building, perhaps somewhere in the stadium, since athletics has sort of moved out of Belmont, and maybe something that Vice President Selesnik might have magic in his hat somewhere in a cool location. But my hope is 2nd floor of the Vaughn Academic Center. I also would love to have this operational by fall of 2013, but I literally have to have answers by October 15th about lots of millions of dollars, and I'm not sure that I'm going to get that answer from the university. If I don't get that answer by October 15th, then we might not be able to hit that fall 2013 target. But that is certainly what I'm pushing for. That is certainly what I want. But all of you, I think, have had a taste of how difficult it can be to get things done at the university, even when everyone wants to, because there are all sorts of procedures and policies that have to be followed. So that's a quick overview of the center, but what I'd really like to do is answer any questions you have, and also encourage you to invite me to speak to your individual college councils about this so people kind of understand how this resource will benefit them. I actually just met with a student in my office right before coming here. She read the article in the Daily Texan and she's like, you know what, I'm a studio art major, but I love finance, and I really want to be a commodities trader, and I've been working in that field, but I can't get an interview at the business school because they won't let me. And so she wanted to know if I could fix that for her by December when she graduates, which unfortunately I can't. But in the future, that actually would be an opportunity for students going forward. She and I strategized about other ways in which I could help her and other ways in which she could achieve her goal. But that's what's so exciting about the center, right, is that it's new opportunities for people based on whatever your interest and skill set is, not necessarily what you study. Because she loves studio art, but she also loves finance. Any questions?
Tom?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm from undergraduate business council. So my concern here is how do we make sure we've built up a very strong connection with a lot of these recruiters. How are you going to make sure that any kind of handoff of these people is going to be a warm handoff? Because, I mean, we've put in a lot of our tuition dollars, a lot of our work to actually get these contacts, to get these jobs. So how are you going to make sure that that doesn't fall through the cracks when we hand it off to a centralized career service?
Okay, so for the business school, you're not handing it off to centralized career service. The business school will still have its own operation. We are agreeing on going to one platform, and as part of that platform, the whole point of that is to have transparent communication. So I know what are the primary contacts for the business school. And remember, I came from right? I was there for 6 years. We had a list on the MBA team of do not touch companies that belong to the BBA team, right? And accounting had their own list, and everybody sort of knew what they were. And if a do not touch, and I'm just using a clear example, if a do not touch company called me, I would tell them that I was very excited to talk to them, but that I really thought they would be better served by the BBA office, and I would let the BBA office handle it. And if the BBA office was like, you know what, they really do want MBAs and there's no need for me to be involved, they would hand them back, right? So it's going to be that kind of clear communication, and each college is going to share their contacts, but it is going to be clear where they came from and how that communication is handled. So I am creating this. I mean, right now at the center, the entire staff is me, but I come from the directors. I come from the decentralized model. I have worked with and have been colleagues with and friends with all of the other college directors for the past 6-8 years, and we have a lot of mutual respect, and we will create the solutions together. So Thelma Arney, Stacy Rudnick, Jim Franklin from the business school, Ann Patera from fine arts, right? Everyone's going to be at the same table coming up with a solution that we all agree with. Does that alleviate some of your concerns? well, I hope to be able to come to you in the spring and give you more definite information like the location and the date, timeline, and the budget. But I'm very excited. I want to thank all of you for the opportunity, and it's really exciting to be able to be a part of this and build something that's going to serve all of the students at the university. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim.
I want to thank Karen, who came to the president's meeting last week as well to explain the center, and has been very, very helpful and transparent in everything. So thank you. We'll now move on to regular guests. Thor is here from student government.
Hey everyone, my name is Thor Lund, and I'm student government president. For those of you who don't know me, a couple of quick things. Invest in Texas. The application, Michael probably talked about this. You'll hear about it a couple more times. Has been extended until next Monday, I believe. So if you guys are interested in being part of the operational committee or getting involved with the legislative session coming up, definitely go ahead and apply for that. Next thing is yesterday was our student government meeting, no, 2 nights ago, and we had the creation of a student government entrepreneurship agency. It's really exciting. It's going to be promoting a lot of different student entrepreneurs on campus. Some of the ways that they're working together, promoting awareness and promoting the week entrepreneurship week that they host every spring before South by Southwest. So it's a really neat opportunity for students to get involved, to talk about some of the things they're working on as undergraduates. So that's really cool. Also, last night, 2 nights ago, student government passed a resolution imposing MF4, which deals with cooperative housing in West Campus. There's going to be a City Hall meeting next Thursday that students will be down there talking about that initiative. So if anyone wants to get involved with that, definitely head out down there. When I came in, Michael Vincent was talking about Suicide Prevention Week, so thanks a lot for hitting on that. That's going on next week. That's something we've been partnering with CMHC on. It's really important to bring awareness about that. It's a really serious issue here on campus and across the nation. So definitely get involved in that. Come out to some of the events. Something that affects a lot of people. And they definitely pick up a 24-hour PCL library shirt. I know Catherine was in here earlier talking about that. It's really exciting. That's pretty much all I got for you. So thanks for having me.
And now we have Michael Redding, president of the Graduate Student Assembly.
Hi everyone, I'll try to be really brief. So one of the things that Karen was talking about was career services and mostly about how it relates with undergraduates, but that also affects grad students. For those of us who are not going into research in a tier 1 institution, that's really important. So one thing that we are in the process of discussing is a piece of legislation to, the graduate school is providing a 20-hour graduate assistant to do training on career services, which is provided by the graduate school but will be housed in the College of Liberal Arts. So there is somewhat of a feeling across campus that only liberal arts graduate students should touch that, even though it's not being paid for by liberal arts at all. So it is just a case of the turf devil. And so we have a piece of legislation on that. We also are working on a piece of legislation which the closest analog I can think of is course instructor surveys, but it's about graduate advisors. And sort of finding out time to degree based on the department level versus individual faculty members. It's going to also be a turf double situation, so that will be fun and exciting. Our 5K is coming up. I will be doing that every single week until the race. It's November 4th. Register a team. Your council would be a great team. And we do have prizes for teams. It's $30 right now. The website is super easy. UTGSA5K.com. I mean, can't get any simpler than that. We will be tabling in Gregory in a couple of weeks, I think, again. If you register then, you also get a water bottle, and they are awesome water bottles because they hold water. What else are we doing? Let's see. We're also partnering with student government on a competitive insurance benefits task force to sort of reapproach that issue, especially coming up on a legislative session. If you're interested in that, shoot me an email. I don't really want to take up any more of your time going into the intricacies of that, but stay tuned. Also, one thing that we did pass was our appropriations. So especially if you're a graduate college council, our round 2 appropriations will be coming out soon. So that application, so you can fill that in and get some even more fun funds And the last thing is not actually a GSA update, but I'm going to take privilege here. The Friar Society has released its application for fall membership. It's the oldest honor society on campus. The application is actually not on our website right now for circumstances outside of our control, but if you're interested, shoot me an email. I think my email is on the agenda, right? So shoot me an email about that. The only requirements are 75 hours as an undergraduate or to be a graduate student. So some of you, unfortunately, will not qualify, but all of you who do should send in an application. So contact me for details. That's all I have. If anybody has any questions about any of that, I know it was a lot. Awesome. Thanks, Michael.
Okay, we'll now move on to unfinished business. Will the author of SB 1203, amending the Constitution and Senate College Council's precinct board.
Hey everyone, I'm Josh Kelso, I'm Senate's Policy Director. I have made one small change to SB 1203 since last meeting. I've added, you won't find it in your agenda personally because it's really long, but I'll read it to you. It's in Article 9 about the General Assembly, and it's just clarifying that the delegates to the college councils can amend legislation. And it says the delegates of the college councils may propose amendments to legislation during the period of discussion and debate. The language of legislation may be amended either with the majority vote of the college councils or with the approval of the authors. And so that's just the same as we have, and that's the only change.
Okay. We'll now move on to a 20-minute period of discussion and debate. That 20 minutes is the max. Not required. Are there any questions, concerns? Seeing none, is there a motion to end discussion and debate? Is there a second? Second. All those in favor of the motion to end discussion and debate, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Okay, are you ready for the question? The question is on the approval of SB 1203, amending the Constitution of the Senate of College Councils. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? All those abstaining? Bill passes. Thank you, Josh. Okay, we'll now move on to SR 1202 in support of freshman advising coordinators in each college and school and the creation of a freshman advising council. Will the authors please step forward?
Hey guys, I'm Robert Calandra. I'm one of the co-chairs of the curriculum committee.
I'm Laura Wright. I'm the other co-chair of the curriculum committee.
So basically, if you turn to SR 1202, there's only a few minor changes that we made it. The first change would be at the bottom of page 1. It's the first footnote. We define freshmen as students who have completed fewer than 2 long semesters at UT, excluding transfer students. So we changed all the language in the resolution to freshmen instead of first year. The other 3 footnotes throughout the bill basically refer to the Provost Advising Technology Work Group. And that was talking about creating a standardized technology platform for advising at the university. And the final change would sort of address a concern that came up when we presented it. If you look in Resolve 52, that all freshmen in all colleges and schools should be assigned an advisor trained in best practices for advising freshmen, with the exception of students in any academic program that an individual college or school wishes to exempt. So that takes care of programs like Longhorn Scholars or TIPS or Plan 2 would be things like that. So, and that's all we changed.
Okay. We'll now move on to a period of discussion and debate.
So I'm David, I'm a freshman, but during the summer orientation, what I realized was every freshman I asked came into, a lot of freshmen I asked that came into orientation, I said, do you know what classes you're taking or anything like that? And they're like, no, I'm just gonna wait for the advisor to do it. And so I think what helped me, if I came in like that, I probably wouldn't have gotten the classes I wanted or anything like that. And what I did was I talked to upperclassmen and they told me to look up the core degree programs and the business programs like on websites. I think if we publicize that more and kids looked ahead of time and looked at all those things online, then when they go to their advising, they could have an idea of what classes they're already going to take and the advisor can actually help them. Because most of the kids just come in and just like, I'm waiting for you to do everything for me. And that's probably an issue, I guess. But that's just an idea.
Yeah, so you're suggesting that we have someone address freshmen during advising prior to them coming in fall semester?
Just like publicize that there are degree programs online that you can check, because I didn't know any of that until like one of these upperclassmen were like, you can look at
yes.
this stuff.
Talk to us after GA, that's something curriculum's working on.
Okay.
Seeing none, is there a motion to end discussion and debate? Is there a second? Second. All those in favor of ending discussion and debate, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, are you ready for the question? The question is on SR 1202 in support of freshman advising coordinators in each college and school and the creation of a freshman advising council. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All those abstaining? Resolution passes. Okay, we'll now move on to new business in SR 1203 in support of a new honor code for the University of Texas at Austin. Would the authors please step forward? Get out of the way.
Hi everybody, my name is Peter Paul Long and I'm one of the co-chairs for the Academic Integrity Committee.
And I'm Shalana Momin and I'm the other co-chair for the Academic Integrity Committee.
And it's the Academic Integrity Committee.
You're right. Too many names to say for now,
So this is SR 1203. It is a piece of legislation in support of a new honor code for the University of Texas at Austin. And so we're just going to take you through the whereas statements and then the resolve to introduce you to the bill or resolution. So the first whereas statements on lines 1 through 2 simply talk about the establishment of a University Honor Code in the first place, and like how it was created in 2004 under President Larry Faulkner, and that goes on to continue on through lines 4 through 7.
Lines 9 through 10 read that the honor code was actually first intended or made in 2004 and intended to be a vital part of the university. And further on, it goes to read from lines 12 to 15 the current honor code and the wording, 41 words that are currently included in the honor code.
And if you go on to lines 17 through 21, you'll see that it discusses the Honor Code Task Force that was created just recently this past year, and how the results from the Honor Code Task Force actually discuss the creation of a new honor code supported by the president of the university, and how the currently, if you go on furthermore, up to lines 23 through 28, you'll see that the 41-word honor code currently is not a vital part of campus right now, and campus integrity life. And so how, under the recommendations, we seek to, following the resolve statements 30 through 31, that we seek to change the honor code to make it more student-friendly and have an actual purpose.
So the current honor code as it would be, the new one, would say lines 30 through 35 as it says, as a student of the University of Texas at Austin, I shall uphold the core values of the university and shall neither participate in nor tolerate academic dishonesty.
And if you go down through lines 37 to 38, it's kind of like the tolerate clause, the protected clause. So if one, it discusses how if one was to tolerate, the word tolerate in the honor code, if one was to, not report cases of academic dishonesty, that they would not be liable for that problem. And then also on lines 40 through 42, it discusses the matter of how the core values that are currently listed in the current honor code would still continue to be branded when the new honor code comes out. So you still have those same 5 core values accompanied with the new honor code. And that's pretty much our piece of legislation.
We'll now move on to a 10-minute period of questions and answers.
So wait, you're saying that it's going to read Resolve 33, a student, etc., but it's also going to have at the end learning, discovery, freedom, or
Yeah. So if you look at the current honor code back on the first page, then you'll see the 41 honor code talks about the core values of the University of Texas are blank, 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 and blank, right? And so that's not really easily enough to memorize for a student. So we feel that we want to keep the core values as a part of integrity culture here on campus, but we want students to be reminded of the honor code and to remember the honor code so that they have to ever look at it or even know it, then they would know what it is, and still but the core values would still be a vital part of academic integrity on campus.
And a large part of the honor code is actually to make it more concise so the students know that a lot of it has to deal with actual academic dishonesty and that there are consequences for their actions. First honor code, the 41-word honor code doesn't really embody that. but we still wanted to keep the core values as part of the honor code because they're a large part of the university and the values that we have here. So they will be accompanied in print with the new honor code.
So I guess, how's that going to look? When you print it on something, is it going to be the honor code, and then is it going to have those honor lists in there? I just can't visualize that.
So what it actually says is that it should make every effort. It does not say it's mandated. What this came from was actually in the President's Committee, there was a strong suggestion that the core value would be present when you had it visible with the honor code. So if it makes it appealing and it is not a distraction or not something that would cause the honor code to have less of an importance or less of a presence, then that would be up to the decision of whoever was printing that.
And it also comes with a mention of the core values in the new honor code. As the old honor code listed all the core values, once again, in the new one, if students are reminded of the core values, they're going to ask, well, what are the core values? And so that's why we feel like the print should be.
How do you guys envision this new honor code being used? I mean, within the college of pharmacy, every time we have to sign off on the honor code that we didn't participate in any kind of academic
Well, there were, the Honor Code Task Force also had recommendations on how the Honor Code should be incorporated on campus and campus life. Some of our ideas to be presented along with this after this is passed, hopefully, would be also such as, on every background of a desktop when a student logs onto university computer, the Honor Code would be present there. When you take a test, the Honor Code, you have to sign it, and maybe that's an idea too. With this new honor code, there has to be a lot of advertising and broadcasting over it. So this is more of a set force to broadcast integrity on the whole campus level. Yeah.
Yes.
Why do you feel that a change in the definition of the word tolerate in the honor code was necessary?
Can we get more people in here? So the reason that needs to be included or is included in there is because when we met with President Powers to talk to him about it, so in a lot of institutions that have the word tolerate, University of Virginia, West Point, tolerate is meant to mean that if you don't report it, you yourself are liable. The president doesn't want to create a culture on campus where people are ratting on people out. You're increasing the not ratting on people out, but on flimsy evidence or doing it to spite somebody. We're not trying to turn this into something where people are getting rounded up because somebody said I saw this person cheating when there may or may not be real evidence to back that up. We would obviously expect people to have a moral standard and report something if they see it, but you're not going to be held accountable if you do not do so, just because we don't want to make it messier than it needs to be.
Hi, Florida Engineering Council. First of all, are there any extra agendas? Because I don't have. But second of all, are there any efforts to also change the core values, the things we have, or are we sticking to the ones we do?
We feel that the core values, when they were made in 2004, had a purpose. Larry Faulkner had a purpose with those core values, and that he had help with the LSOs, like Student Government, Graduate Student Assembly, and Senate. And we feel that those core values reflected students' values then, and they still do today. So our take is just that the honor code should be changed, but not the core values. And we feel that with this new honor code, the core values will become even more integral, or more integrated part of campus life.
Why does it specify only academic dishonesty? I feel like the original honor code kind of brought about all types of dishonesty, like lying,
Right.
etc.
Well, the old honor code, if you do the campus job, for example, you'll see that you have to go through those training modules, and it talks about the honor code and how it applies to faculty, staff, and students, and anybody part of the University of Texas at Austin. This honor code is more driven towards students, such as in the matter of that's why it's academic dishonesty, because we feel like this is more for students.
Is it more for students, or is it only for students? You start off as a student.
Right, exactly, as a student.
So, what about the rest of the years? Do you have all of it now?
Degree planner, and that sort of covered a lot of the issues that were present with the IDA system then, and one of the things that we wanted to sort of re-highlight this year was the need for dual degree students to be able to run a single audit and have the ability to see both of their degrees at the same time. So some of the new features have been implemented on the IDA. If you've been there recently, there's a couple things that have been fixed, but this is one of the things that is lacking, and it puts dual degree students at a severe disadvantage when they're trying to do their degree planning and looking ahead for their college careers.
Yeah, thank you, Shane. And the intention behind this piece of legislation is a pretty simple one, so it's not hard to process, but it's just to encourage the office of the registrar to change the interactive degree audit system to, in fact, allow dual degree students to run the both at once. Because I know, I think 3 of us standing up here are dual degree students, so I firsthand have seen how difficult this is to do, and it would be really great if they would change it.
All right, so basically the summary has already been covered through the background and the intent, but basically it was stated in the final report of the task force on undergraduate graduation rates that this should be a priority. So that's basically the direction that we're going in with that. Whatever was stated in that report is kind of our platform, and yeah, that's largely.
So as far as implementation, this is a very simple piece of legislation. It's something that Shelby Stanfield is already working on in the redesign of the IDA. It's something we want to further encourage and make sure it is put in place. So we would meet with Shelby Stanfield to discuss about the technical feasibility and the costs, and we would also meet with the vice provost and the registrar.
We'll now move on to a 10-minute question and answer period. Are there questions?
So I know we talked about last year about my EDU, and so I was kind of wondering if this has any plans for future implementation of that, or if that just kind of died, like what happened to my EDU on that?
Okay, so as of right now, we are in a legal standstill with my EDU. So nothing has been created. Based on a conversation that we had in my EU implementation committee, additional features outside of what my EU is already creating would cost additional funds for the University of Texas at Austin. So I do not foresee anything coming to fruition regarding this or be a light system to the IDA. That's my short rant. Any other questions?
Whereas comment of it, is that students who have degrees in different colleges, they're either rolling towards it?
So this is if you had somebody who is a double major in business and state government, Robert. Robert Lincoln was a business advisor, and they may not have a knowledge of the liberal arts advising system and his degree plan. This would help with that. Robert would be able to come in with a list that has all of his degree requirements. So that's what that whereas means.
Assuming this is a pass, how long before are we up and active? You know?
That's something that we would have to find out in talks with Shelby Stanfield, but Susie's currently talking.
If I could just add on to this, I chaired the degree audit uses subcommittee that's mentioned in the policy brief about this. The registrar's office is working on reprogramming the IDA from the ground up. It's a totally different technical infrastructure now than it used to be. And so there's extended rollout process of various features, and this is one of them that has been discussed in great detail, both on the design side and on the operations side. So it's moving in that direction, and technically this is as simple as when you run a degree audit, it compares your progress against a set of rules. And this would be simply aggregating those rule lists into one list so they can be viewed at the same time. So it's a very simple thing to do.
Seeing none, please take this back to your councils. The vote is scheduled for October 4th. Thank you all. We'll now move on to agency reports. Joey Dominguez with Dimtex.
Hello everyone, I'm Joey Dominguez.
Hi, I'm Kevin Diamond.
And we serve as Vector and Assistant Vector for respectively, for the DemTech program. For those of you who don't know what the DemTech program is, it's a program for which undergraduate students can design and lead a Socratic style course of their own choosing. Michael is actually one of the student facilitators this year. He's teaching a course on the higher education debate that has been raging for the last couple of years. And I've heard very good things about this class of students who are taking it right now. We've actually released the application for anyone who's interested in designing a course for this upcoming semester. All you really need to give us are an idea of the course we'd like to create, done a syllabus, and ideally a faculty advisor who would be able to coordinate with you and advise you in designing this course, making it as rigorous as possible. That application deadline is October 5th by midnight. If you are interested, please send your information and we'll be in contact with you, and you can contact us either at utdemtex@gmail.com or utdemtex.org. Is that everything, Jeff?
Just in general, I cannot urge you enough. If you have any interest in some subject area that you think you could teach a class on, please apply. We need as many people to apply as we possibly can get. If you have any questions, like Joey said, you can go to our website, demtex.org, or you can email us at utdemtex@gmail.com.
Also, if I can kind of segue into my other rule as far as undergraduate research committee goes, student facilitators can earn undergraduate research credit if if what you are deems that the course has adequate research component as far as creating it goes. As Kevin said, if you're even slightly interested in running a course, you have classes on Seinfeld, on Lost, if you just really love Batman and you want to talk to other undergraduates about Batman and mythological theory and all that sort of stuff, you absolutely can. We work with you and Center for Teaching and Learning to design a genuinely academic course for really any subject you're interested in. Thanks, guys.
We'll now move on to council announcements and liberal arts council report.
Hi everyone, my name is Morgan. I'm the president of Liberal Arts Council, and next week is Liberal Arts Week. And the theme of our week is You Know Your Liberal Arts Student Win. And we have a lot of events coming up. We're sponsored by Senate and the New York Times. And I believe Bala will be sending this out over the council's listservs, or Senate listservs, so you can get this information more in depth. But just some of the highlight events that we have an essay contest, and we'll be awarding $250. This is just for liberal arts students though, and the topic is how would your liberal arts education influence your personal platform for the presidency? And that is due on Monday. We also have an event coming up this Tuesday. We will have Dr. Albertson, Dr. Edwards, and Dr. Henson speaking about the presidential debate and different things going into that as far as how media is influencing it and different mudslinging that's happening during the debate. And then next Wednesday is our New York Times Jeopardy, and we're having a columnist from the New York Times, Paul Wilson, come. He's actually hosting Jeopardy. And all these events have free food, free tips, free pizza, so come on out. It's going to be a great time. And also throughout the week, we have deputized members of council, so we're registering people to vote. So yeah, come on out. Thank you.
Are there any other council announcements? Okay, seeing none, we'll now move on to executive reports. Under mine, first thing is Student Conduct Board. This is the second thing that came out of the Honor Code Task Force to be dealt with. Currently, we have a group working with the Dean of Students. Michael Roden also sits on that group, coming up with the kind of infrastructure for a Student Conduct Board. So if you commit a violation of academic integrity, and you go to student judicial services, and you are found to have significant evidence that you did commit an act of academic dishonesty, you can then appeal it to either a university hearing officer or the creation of a student conduct board. This board will be 5 members, 4 of which are students, 1 of which is a faculty member, and they'll be selected from a pool of 30. Each student, when they are notified that they'll have a hearing, is given the list of who will be on there, so if there's anybody that they object to or no, then they can make that clear, and another person will fill the spot. The selection process, we are working on the details of how that should happen. It'll be a combination of application as well as nomination from deans. We are hoping to have this all in place by fall 2013 after we finalize everything, and then also has to go through the legal process. But that's an update on that. It's also only appellate cases, so you're not going to be tried in that particular board. Second thing is council visits. So Andrew and I will be visiting all the councils. I've spammed your email and got visits down. We were lucky enough to go to Education Council last night. We'll be visiting councils for the next couple of weeks just to give an update on what we've been up to and also taking feedback of how we can do a better job, as well as talking a little bit about the council climate survey, which we'll be sending out on October 8th. Which is the next item, which is the Senate Fall Survey. So presidents, if you have not already sent me the emails on your listserv, we need those in order to be able to distribute that survey. Again, these emails will only be used for this, and they'll go to the third party that we're using with the Office of the Vice President for Student Affairs. So if you can give me those emails as quickly as possible, I would greatly appreciate it. The next item is the School of Undergraduate Studies Dean Search. As many of you are aware, Dean Paul Woodruff stepped down after his term to focus more on teaching, and now Dr. Larry Abram is the interim dean. And the search committee for the new dean of the School of Undergraduate Studies will convene on Wednesday. I sit on that committee as well as Jordan McWhorter from Student Government, the former president of the Undergraduate Studies Council, as well as some different administrators, and also a former president of Senate, Cale McDowell. So I'll keep you updated as those talks progress, and we move towards naming a new dean for the School of Undergraduate Studies. Also, something I encourage everyone to attend is the State of the University address. This is given by President Powers. It's around the time of the University of Texas at Austin's birthday, and basically it is his State of the Union and how the university is going, what his vision is for the next year. All students are welcome to attend. It is at 4 o'clock on Thursday in the B.I. Payne Theater, which is right over here in the Winship building. So if you do have any questions about that, please let me know. All are welcome to attend. And you don't have to be in formal garb to come. And yes, I can just use the word garb. The next item is something that I'm very, very excited about, and we're very glad to be partnering with Student Government on this, and that is a show on Texas Student Television. This is an idea I had when I was communications director last year, and we're finally able to bring it to life, which is a kind of meet the press style show, which is we'll have half of the half-hour show belong to Student Government and Senate discussing issues, and it'll be moderated by a Daily Texan reporter, and then the second half of the show will be the Daily Texan editorial board and their columnists discussing issues on state, local, and national importance. So we will begin the first episode in mid-October. It'll be once a month because nobody wants to hear us talk more than that. But we're excited to have it. It'll be a good way to build transparency between the leaders of two of the LSOs and the rest of the campus community. And then the last thing, as Thor mentioned earlier, which is the Invest in Texas Operational Committee application, we extended the deadline to Monday, September 24th at 5 p.m. If you do have any questions about that, please feel free to contact me. I encourage everybody to apply. And that also means that if you don't apply for the operational committee, it does not mean that you cannot be a part of Invest in Texas. You can certainly be that even if you don't sit on that particular committee. So that's all I have. Are there any questions?
Okay, so 2 quick updates from me. First of all, the course transformation project. How many of you are familiar with that? So that's not in the pants, but it's a cool and innovative thing that UT is doing. So it started last year. It essentially is kind of changing the way intro-level courses are taught. Last year it started with biology, chemistry, and statistics. This year we've expanded it into English, economics, and psychology. So it's growing, and this is not for every intro-level course. I believe there's a total of 15 between those 6 subject areas now. But as you can tell, it's seeing tremendous results already in terms of student success rates in these big intro-level courses where, frankly, this is where students are most likely to run into difficulties, and that can have a real snowball effect on the remainder of their college career. So it's new, it's innovative, it's exciting, and it's seeing tremendous success already. And so Dr. Ritter got really, really excited and decided that we needed to launch a Twitter where we can, she's going to post things that happen, or things that are going on, stuff that is innovative in higher education, and wants to make it in kind of a forum of big, exciting, big ideas that are happening in higher ed. So if you are on Twitter, please follow it. I don't have a Twitter, so I really don't, frankly, know how this works. So if somebody who has Twitter wants to better explain this, I don't know. But follow it if you have a Twitter, and if you see interesting articles on higher education, and if that's your thing, please tweet at. Right? Do you tweet at? Tweet at, yeah. Sorry. Tweet at with that. And then the other thing thank you, Laura. The other thing I have to update on is from PSAC. So Michael Redding and I, we have 3 committees on PSAC. Michael Redding and I, he's in the back, we sit on the aptly named low-hanging fruit committee. So how many of you just have encountered something that happens, like some weird university policy, you don't know why we do it this way, but it adds unnecessary bureaucracy. For example, this is not something we did, our PSAC cannot take credit for, but last year they found out that if you want to see a financial aid advisor, you cannot see one on the same day you make an appointment. If you call in and say, I want to see a financial aid advisor, they say, you must come in tomorrow, even if they have available times on the same day. So they said that to President Powers last year. He was like, what? Why is that? So this year we formed a whole committee to find problems like that. So if you have encountered some weird little rule like that, or some strange university policy, and you don't know why we do it that way, and it doesn't make sense to you, and let me tell you folks, there's plenty of things out there like that. If you encounter those, please let me know. I would be more than happy to bring it to the attention of the president and see if we can do something to get it fixed. On that financial aid issue, they presented that to him, he said that's weird, and now you can see a financial aid advisor on the same day that you go in. So, things like that can be small problems that can be corrected easily. We just need to have them brought to our attention. So if you ever encounter issues like that, please let us know. We'd be more than happy to help you fix them. So thank you.
I know the course transformation, Twitter will get a lot of use, particularly from Farzad, who aptly tweeted at us that I was wearing the exact same suit that the picture was in. Which means we don't have any money, which is a good segue to Kendra's update. It's been a long way to go.
Okay, well, I like this dress. So. If you look at your agenda, reminding you, it says round 2 appropriations are due this Sunday, 5 p.m. Please bug your student organizations about this, your council members about this. Us FDs love to give out this money. We love to interview them. Spend 4 hours in interviews, so please tell your organizations to apply for this. So interviews, FDs, by the way, will be this coming Thursday. They'll probably start around the same time they did this past time. So 6 p.m. So start emailing me if you can't make it, if you're going to be there for part of the time or something like that. And then I have 2 spinning workshops coming up. One is tomorrow from 4 to 4:30. It'll be in the Senate office, and the next one is next Thursday at 4. I realize now that that's during the university's the president's address. So if you had told me you're going to that, but then now you're going to the address, it's okay. Just let me know. We'll get it figured out. I'm also holding 2 spinning workshops for organizations tomorrow who got appropriations. Just so you know about that. I didn't include that on here because I didn't want to confuse you and have you go into the wrong one, because a lot of different information will be at the different spinning workshops. So now, if you'll turn to the back of your agenda, the very last page, I'm going to start with that first. are the results for round 1 appropriations. My lovely FDs, like I said before, sat in 4 hours of interviews and we deliberated about this and they came up with, okay. We decided $2,700 for round 1 and 6,440 black and white copies. You can kind of see on the notes what each of those things are going towards. If you have any questions about any of this, you can let me know now before we approve it, I guess. We don't? We usually do. I thought we did. Okay, well, for your information, here's round 1 appropriations. What we are approving, right? Yes. Okay. The next thing right before that is the budget. So if you will take a look at that, things are separated. They're kind of categorized. It first goes by internal Senate. So you'll see our office expenses, publicity, our orientation, our committee budgets are there, as well as agencies and stipends. And then there's the 3 councils, Impact, UGS, and USC, who their account is within our account, so that's why they're listed under internal initiatives. And then on the back of that, I'll say all the council's budgets. So that equals the amounts down here. There's a lot of number crunching to get this, but if you have any questions before we actually approve that, let me know.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the budget? Do you want your money? Is there a second? All those in favor of the budget, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? All those abstaining? Passed. Alex has been docked $500 for that. We'll now move on to Executive Director Brian Hirsch.
Hi everyone, I just have a few quick updates. The first is Academic Expo that is coming up next week on Tuesday and Wednesday at Marguerite Plaza. All confirmation emails from participating councils have either gone out earlier this evening or will go out to you by tonight. It'll have all that information on there for you once again. And if you have any special requests that you can only be there during certain times, you needed additional manpower for volunteering and manning your table, or you needed additional supplies or whatever that may be, will also be included in those emails. And then a few points under there, you'll just see, please help to continue to publicize the event. There is a Facebook event for those of you who are on Facebook, and you can also check out utsenate.org/academicexpo. All of the information and a lot more details are on there. There's going to be free food, prizes, t-shirts. It should be really interactive and a really fun event for students. Our visitors will have a unique opportunity to connect with leaders in your councils and really showcase what your organization is doing for students on this campus. It'll give students an opportunity to really get to know the leaders who represent their academic interests and gain educational resources and really key information to enhance their educational experience. So that's kind of the mission and the goal of this event. If anyone has any questions, please email me, call me anytime. I'll also be here right after GA, so if you want to come speak to me individually, please do. Are there any general questions right now from the councils or anyone in internal Senate? Awesome. All right, well, really looking forward to that. The next point on there is council newsletter and council calendar. Council newsletter, we began this last year and we kind of want to revamp it for this coming year. So Chris Wynn, our communications director, and I will be meeting this weekend to get that finalized. The design and development will go out to you guys for your approval, and what we'll do is a bi-weekly gathering of all of your events and important updates and your news. It'll go into this collective newsletter, and just like the Senate newsletter will be sent out to you guys on a bi-weekly basis. So we want to make that really efficient and have it really interactive, so all of your social media, your website links can go on that newsletter as well. And then the council calendar will go on our Senate website. If you go to utsenate.org, and you'll see council, college councils tab. You can scroll over the tab and you'll see that there are resources and the list of the councils. In addition to that, there will now be a calendar. So all those events will also be in a calendar form as well, and you can filter by council. And the final thing on there, buddy councils, we want to unveil those by tonight. So if you haven't gotten in your preferences, this went out to the presidents and the Senate reps. Please email me, or if you haven't gotten the form, or if you want to just jot down your top 3 councils, and you'll see that there are listed 20 councils on your agenda in case you can't remember some of the councils around you. But please, yeah, get those in by tonight, and we'll unveil those and more details about what exactly we want to see out of those partnerships, or just some kind of ideas. A lot of it's very free reign, and it's up to you, so we want this to remain very autonomous amongst the councils, but just some suggestions and some best practices that happened last year. So I know that UBC and Fine Arts Council partnered and was very successful, and so any past events as well we'll aim to highlight. But any other questions or anything? Great, thank you.
Are there any more executive reports? Seeing none, we'll now move on to committee reports, and Becky Pickert and Janelle from Faculty Affairs.
So this month we have our Professor of the Month application due tonight before midnight. The councils that we had participating this month were Pharmacy Council and Undergraduate Studies Council, Natural Science Council, and Graduate Business Council. So if you're in any of those councils and you have any outstanding professors, which I know you all do, we would love to get all your applications in by midnight tonight. The link was sent out to all the presidents and senate reps, and if you want that link, just let me know. I can give it to you right now after the meeting. It's just a Google form that's online, easy to fill out. We just need your name, professor's name, and just a few short questions that you need to answer about the professor. So come to me after the meeting, and I can get you that link set up real quick. And yeah, and if you can, just get it sent out to anybody else before we play.
Yeah, so far we only have some nominations from the Natural Sciences Council, so definitely pharmacy, undergraduate studies, and graduate business. If you guys have teachers that you'd like to recognize, please fill out that form.
Yeah. We all know you have awesome professors because that's why you're here. So get that done, and we'll be announcing the winner at the next meeting. Okay, thanks.
Okay, and now Kika and Joey from Undergraduate Research.
Yes, me again.